Well, thank you, and thank you all for having me today. It's a pleasure. I'm always interested in coming out and talking to folks and how um, we can help individuals, especially in the time of need. My name is Mary Spears, and I am with Aflac.
Unmute yourself, Mary, on your computer.
Oh,
Well, it was picking up from mine.
Oh, well, hold on, Mary, wait.
It's okay, go ahead.
okay. Well, good morning. I think we're actually early afternoon. So thank you again for having me. My name is Mary Spears. I am okay. I am with Aflac. And what I was saying is that I'm gonna turn the volume. I think there's an issue here in my volume, maybe. Um, I always like to be able to come out and speak with individuals about how to help. And just to give a little bit of background about me, this change. Actually, I I'm still am a licensed social worker and have let's say 40 years of social work behind me. Anywhere from I always tell people working with anywhere from the pregnant moms to the elderly in all various capacities. Should it be case management, should it be program planning, development, organization, um, what have you. I did get my undergrad at Lamar University as well as my master's at University of Houston in community organization and planning. That's right. Cool. Okay, got a cardinal, got a cougar in here. Now, that's what I'm talking about. But point where it was time to make a change. But still, I'm not ready to sit down and not do anything. So after all of these various years of working with people and helping people, I still want to be able to help people. And it was kind of interesting when I said what I was not going to do, but I still do private, small contracts with helping people get children with international adoption studies and foster care. So I do have that little contract on the side. It is because again, I do want to work hard, I want to work smarter. And then lo and behold, when I really wasn't thinking about much of anything, I got this notice on LinkedIn and really was thinking like, what do I really know about this? And what do I really want to do this? And I said, well, you know something, Lord, if it's for me, it'll be for me. And lo and behold, when I started and like we went through this interview process and all the other, and then the next thing came up and said that you got to be licensed as an insurance agent. So are you serious? I think I got enough licenses already. And same way went in their room, like, Lord, if you want, I'll pass the test, and I'll pass the test on the first round. So okay, so here I am before y'all, months later. So again, that's me to give you a little bit about what I'm all about. Because again, it's all in my day about being able to help people, even helping people when I was growing up, and how my parents told me always to be able to help and to give back. And so what I wanted to do before I talk a little bit further, and hopefully I get this right, I want to show you something that you may have seen, may not have seen, to give you an introduction, a little about what Aflac is all about. It comes. I don't think it's starting. Let's see. Can you hear that? Can they hear it?
I have to share.
Share here. This one. This share.
Yeah, that's sure, but she don't have the
Turn up the volume.
The people that was on live,
Understand it's hard to be chill when your health insurance doesn't fully cover your medical bills.
Well, good. Um, and we actually had a video with Coach Prime on that. No, it was Monday, actually. Again, giving us a pep talk about getting folks involved.
Yeah.
So, one of the things what I do want to talk to you about is, and what I'm always concerned about is making sure people are being taken care of. I understand, what you're doing. You're doing real estate and you're out there and you're dealing with people and going in various types of environments. And just as what the video said, Aflac is paying those out-of-pocket costs that the doctors or the hospital, after those bills come in from the doctors or the hospitals. So everybody, whether or not you have insurance or not, you're going to be faced with those out-of-pocket costs. It should be a copay, a deductible, a specialist, what have you. It's still going to be something that the insurance is not going to pay. This is where Aflac comes in, where you can file a claim as a policy holder. And what happens is that when you file a claim with Aflac, that's how you're reimbursed based off, the particular procedure. And I always tell people is that when you do file a claim, please make sure, because I know sometimes they might be a little rushed about how, what's included in the paperwork. Make sure that, so that's how, when somebody asks like how much money I'm getting, which what I'll tell you is that the most information that's included on that invoice that you get is the more that you're going to get paid back. Because if they put office visit, that might be $50. But if they say that you went in, you gave you some injections, say for instance, if somebody had followed up with an injury about a back and you gave some, they gave you some other medication, they did the other. Well, all of those things factor in, and that's how, your reimbursement increases. Reimbursements here are very, they happen very quickly. I mean, my regional service coordinator swears by it. If somebody turns in the invoice, that he's gonna get it out in a few days to be able to get your money back. So that's a good thing. Aflac, going back even with the history of Aflac, and I'm not sure how many of you all know, Aflac's been around for 70 years. Wow. And even 50 years in Japan. Started with the Amos brothers, and they had a need to be able to do something to help folks. And so again, that's how it started. Our president, CEO is Virgil Miller. And I'm going to say, to give you an assignment to look up and see Virgil Miller and see what Virgil Miller is all about. A good man to know about. Virgil Miller. So going forward here with what we offer, there's various types of policies. For instance, there's a cancer policy. Some people get the cancer policy because they either have had a history in their family about cancer, may not, or maybe getting an initial diagnosis. If you have an initial diagnosis with cancer, Aflac is going to pay you upfront $7,500. That's just with turning in paperwork saying that you have an initial diagnosis. But then they're also going to pay for those treatments when those treatments start. And it depends, it'll pay depending on what levels, because there's various levels of, the plan for a cancer plan. So I just heard something recently in a meeting where the individual said, oh, I just said, I'm going to go ahead and get it. I don't cancer. I don't think I do or anything like that. And unfortunately, she was diagnosed several months back. But to their advantage, at least she was able to get some, some of her money recouped and be able to help with some of those out-of-pocket expenses. Because regardless of what the money is yours. It's not the doctor's money. It's not the hospital's money. It's your money. You still have bills that's going to have to be paid. You're still going to have, those out-of-pocket expenses that you need to take care of. This is your money to use. So, that's something that's really key. There's an accident policy. All of us, I don't think there's nobody can say that we're not, at some point are going to be privy to having an accident at some point. One of my coworkers, or I should say business partners, recently, as of yesterday, was telling that I couldn't go here because my wife had an accident. And I said, so you had that accident policy, because they didn't think about car accident, but it's an accident. An accident is anything from a slip and fall to whatever. I mean, if you end up injuring yourself or in the office and you go to an emergency room, you're gonna have to pay. That's a claim. Regardless of what is considered an accident. So like you said, I didn't even think about that. It's an accident. It covers also under that accident policy is going to be the treatment. Not only that emergency room visit. Some will use an example, real life examples, like for instance, with my nephew who worked somewhere and doesn't work there anymore. And what happened while he was there, something fell on him where he got injured, he hit his shoulder. Now they see the doctor and all this other stuff, but here it is years later. Now he's having a reoccurring injury and he's having physical therapy. Aflac pays for those therapy visits. That's treatment. So again, those are the types of things that the accident policy covers. And then it depends, on the level, but as for what, the payment was, which I can pull up something and show it to you a little bit later. But that's the accident policy. The next one is critical care. And critical care can be anything from a heart attack. Something new that's been added here in the last few years is COVID. And all of us, unfortunately, at some point, it's a blessing if you didn't get it, because I think that I'm the last person. Usually I feel like I am the last person always getting someone. Everybody, lo and behold, last year, and I was like, wow, I can't believe this. Those are all under here. It's all, everything would be covered. And even with the accident, hospitalization, going back to the accident, if somebody has to go to the hospital, that's going to be paid. That emergency room visit turns into the hospital, same way. The critical care, the critical illness, sickle cell, anything you can think that would be considered a critical illness. These are plans, these are areas that is falling under that particular plan and can be, compensated for. So again, the treatment, the hospitalization, what have you, that's affiliated with that would be a claim. Short-term disability. Short-term disability, and one thing that I do need to say, that would apply to a group. A group would be any group of 3 people. Should it be, because I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that everybody I think is an independent, but then you have persons that work with you. Groups, a minimum of 3 people. The advantage of a group would be they can get short-term disability as well as they can get just hospitalization in general, but you get it at a lower rate. Unfortunately, an individual can get short-term disability in hospital, but they can get that if it's a result or the critical illness. Okay. It seems like you got a question. I'm free to stop. Go ahead. That's different. That's 2 different claims. It could be turned out. I mean, I'm glad you bring it up, because the question is what about accident and critical illness? It could end up being 2 claims though. You had an act, whatever happened, you failed or something like that, and as a result, going to the doctor and whatever it is, some person for whatever reason might have ended up having some heart condition. That's 2 claims. You're filing off the accident as well as you're filing off the critical illness. So it wouldn't be that you're you wouldn't combine it because you're shortchanging yourself. Plus, yeah. Well, she said this, yeah, that's right. Good thought there. Yeah. When she was saying about the pregnant, about the short-term disability. Exactly. Because keeping in mind, if you don't work, what's going to happen? Yeah. You don't eat, the bills are still coming. And so get in that monthly check, depending on what level that you would set up. That's, with the short-term disability. I'm sorry, did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because so anywhere from, what is it, 3 months to 2 years, depending on, what someone chooses for the short-term disability. And then you get, whatever the amount of money that you want to set aside. Hospital I already mentioned, that would be anything else, unfortunately. If you are not a part of a group. If you're a part of a group, then a regular hospitalization would be covered under that. Life insurance. There's two types of insurance. There is the term, 10, 20, 30 year terms. It can start as low as $20,000 and go up to six figures, with life insurance. That's totally, up to you. Then the other, whole life. And are you familiar, with difference between whole life and the term? The term is just that. Whole life would be where you're basically paying into that policy and you have the opportunity if you need to have a loan for whatever reason. Another story about me, y'all gonna see, you're gonna know all her business before it's over with. Way back in the dinosaur years when I went to Lamar University, undergrad, I was coming from class and all of a sudden his car was behind me. And I was thinking, okay, creepy man driving behind here, driving real slow behind me. Well, he stopped and I looked and he seemed like he was decent enough. And he said, I just need a moment of your time, young lady. So he talked to me and lo and behold, he turned out to be an insurance agent. And because he's so good on his policy, and I was like, he said, oh, you're young. I think I was like 20 maybe, way back when. And he said that you could pay like maybe $3, whatever it is. And I was like, oh, I can do that. Well, at the time, I did it really, to be honest with you, get him away from me. So I can just go and sign on the dot right here. They'll come into my apartment and leave. But guess what happened years later? Because I kept that for many, many years. There was a time where I really did need to do something. It had built up. I could pull a loan out, and use that loan. Now you have the option, when you use that loan, either to be able to pay it back. So you can pay it back and to the actual cash value. I mean, the policy value end up when it ends, you'll be able to have whatever money that would be left over. So that's the difference between the whole and the term. Now the term is natural. I mean, the whole is going to be a little bit more than what the term is going to be, but that's the difference between term and whole life insurance. Vision. I think that's one is so critical because even if you have vision, even if you have that insurance, it doesn't pay a whole lot. And still they end up having to pay like these three-figure uh, prices, whatever it is, for these cute glasses because you gotta see. But still, even the lowest rate will still is like paying about $300, $400, $500, $600 there. So might as well get the cute ones. But the point is that out of pocket fee, that's a claim. You know, uh, dental. There's a dental policy, and I always tell them that's my first disclaimer. But dental, don't get the smallest policy because you're going to be mad and you'll come back and say, my gosh, all they paid for was the cleaning. Well, it might, that's that. The second rank one is the one that's going to include your fillings. Like if you got good teeth that's going to include your fillings, then you want to make sure you get that one. Then the third one is going to include that cosmetic surgery with the implants and all of that other good stuff. But again, it's worth it because you'll be able to get back some of your money that's been placed in there. Because again, my insurance paid X number of dollars, but trust me, those two fillings, yeah, were real fun. Yeah. And crowns and oh God, root canals. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes. So all of those things are about, what the policies offer. I'm going to try to see, can I get back in my screen? I might need a little help to get back because I wanted to show you something else. The screen sharing stopped. Okay, windows closed. So I need to get back. I want to go back to my Aflac page. So do I just get rid of this? Okay, then would I minimize this for a minute? I can minimize this for a minute
Yes, you can.
and then go here. So we can get back in. Okay, something I want to show you just to give you an idea. And
You got the.
I'm not there yet. Okay, so I'm gonna do, I just wanted to give you an example about our policies. And this is only gonna be what I'm gonna do is just show you just an example of when some people always ask me like, just give me an estimate of how much does this really cost? And I have no problem sending it to you individually if you're interested in it. But I was just gonna give you an idea so you can see how much, you might be in, have to, consider. I'm just doing this thing. Why I'm doing this, I mean, do you all have any benefits at all? Yeah, okay. But from the company, no. No, not Aflac, from this company. Okay. Uh-huh. I got you. Uh-huh. Okay. I hope it shows up. Let's see if it's gonna work for me. Come on, work for me. What I'm doing here, somebody's wondering, what is she doing? I'm trying to give you a, okay, so now I go back to the Zoom, okay? Oh, go here,
And then back to that green.
green, but Shay's gonna have me being a real pro here. Okay. Hopefully you can see, I'm gonna try to get this bigger for you. I think you might have left a little quicker, Shay. I was trying to figure out how do I make it larger?
You see those three dots at the very top, to your, on the gray bar?
There might be only three dots. Let's see, it's here.
Right here.
Oh, you're here. Okay. Uh-huh. That's how I was going here now.
So, move, close this.
Mhm.
Is it touchscreen?
Mhm.
No, alright, so, minimize that
Mhm.
and bring it down some. Like, yeah, and then these three dots right there, you should have a zoom, yeah, right.
Okay, can you all see that okay?
I know the people on Zoom can see.
People on Zoom can see this, okay. Maybe I need to bring it out a little bit.
I think it's the projected.
Okay, just to give you an example, the beauty of the cancer plan, and I just did like the second level one. If you see, if you're an individual, meaning that you or someone has, I mean, you're just by yourself, or if you're by yourself and you have other people working within you, with you, but everybody else is saying no, and you said, I want this, I need this, this plan as an individual. 18 to 75, you notice the ages regardless, 18 to 75, should it be an individual? Should it be the policy holder and your spouse? one parent family or two parent family. These are the costs, meaning that it's minimal when you're what you're talking about. And I did this, let me see, if I did that monthly or weekly. That was a weekly rate. And that was class as for A, and that depends. I just want to explain to people. This is just going to be an estimate. What we do is that we put in the information, like if you're interested with your company, we would input that information in, and based off your company and the number of individuals and everything, we get a rating. It's a standard industry code. And that determines like also your cost, how much your pricing is gonna be. Right now, I just did that and that was for a class A. So if you see those prices are pretty minimal, you're talking about even for an individual, $8.22. So $32 and so $32 and for a month. If you're looking at that, depending on how you're paying and going up based off if you're, you individual or yourself and your spouse, or if your family, individual family, or then a two-parent family. So that's an example of the cancer plan. So like what I was saying, if you can see, that's minimal. Then I did one that was for the second level cancer plan. The next one I'm pulling up is for the third one. That is pretty blurry there. Which again would be starting at $11 or $44 a month, and then going up to $19.73 for the two parent. The hospital, and again, I want to say that the hospital is going to be the plan for a group. So you have to have a minimum of 3 people. And I want to explain too, what sometimes people say, I don't have 3 folks. Sometimes it might be someone that I work with someone who she uses a father because she have an separate office somewhere else. Her father comes in, he does maintenance and he things. And I say, well, are you paying him? Well, I'm paying him as a 1099. Well, that's one of your person. You want to include him. Mom serves as a bookkeeper and she's doing other things for answering the phone. Well, she's your receptionist, what have you. So that's another person. So then that makes your group. So meaning that your policy would be, even lower. So with the hospital, as you can see, now the hospital, there's a breakdown, as you can see from that. It's a breakdown of ages 18 to 49, like 1875 with total as well. And I included, just to let you know, I was including those riders in there where you can get the additional costs, because sometimes you might have to have an extended period to stay in the hospital. So you want that extra protection, to be able to cover, to be able to be coverage, as well as like if you had to have surgery and then you have to have recovery. Because if you don't include surgical rider or include extra rider for the recovery, well, if you have after this plan will only cover you for while you're at the hospital. But afterward, like what we were talking about before, if you need to have physical therapy, if you had to come back for follow-up visits, those wouldn't be covered without those extra riders. So that's where it went from 11 to 1875. But anyway, the breakdown again is the 18 to 49. That's that fee. Then it's a 50 to 59, which is 2043, and then the 60 to 75. So again, that's for the individual, and it goes up for if it's with your spouse, which is 1755 or 3036. You're adding on the excess, and then one parent and two parent, and that's for the hospital. And like I said, it was including the extended benefit rider. So again, for extra types of things that they would cover, sometimes you don't think about it, about add on your bill. And then the hospital stay and surgical rider, which is real important. The short-term disability I included in. And the short-term disability was an elimination period where the would be 0 and 7 days, meaning that for the first 7 days, it would pick up after day 7, when you would be the short-term disability would be in effect. That's really is the lowest one. I chose that one because like some persons, if you did have benefits, some persons might do 7 and 14 or whatever it is, because they might be using their PTO or vacation time. But what you're telling me, if I'm correct, this would fall in your category. So that's what the 0 and 7 days would be the minimal. And then it would go depending on annual income. And in this bracket, it just went from 9,000 to 28,000, and it ranged anywhere from $3.30 to $9.24. As well, then in the benefit period, depending on how much that you're going to put in, anywhere from 500 to 1,400, about what you want to pay for. So that's the 3 months. The 6 months would be anywhere from $4.20 to $11.76. And these rates that I'm quoting, and you can see there's other ones, but these are rates that I'm quoting, like persons in age bracket, if you're from 18 to 49. And then it would, would go up. The dental, I put level 2. I put level 2 there. I didn't even bother with level 1 because I didn't want anybody to come back and say something like, all they did is pay for a cleaning. So I didn't even put level 2 in there. I put level 1. I put level 2, and with level 2 individual for that 18 to 70, it across the board, which is a great thing. So, the hospital at a breakdown, but as for the dental, 18 to 70 is going to be the same amount for the individual, 885. But then again, I would suggest the 2022 because that's going to cover orthodontic and the cosmetic, because those cute things going to be included in there. So the $20.22 a week, and then it goes up per depending on if it's a single parent or it's a a couple or 2-parent family. That would be that one. Then level 3 actually is only a difference of $4, which goes from 2022 to 2418, to give you an idea. Because again, the age range is regardless. So you'd be paying the same amount as you said, okay, I'm 30, I'm just throwing something out. I'm 30 and mama's 65. Well, hey, you're gonna be paying the same amount as mama would be paying. Yeah.
So the prices here,
Mhm.
that's per week.
That's per week, right?
And then so are you able to get these plans like individually, or do they have to be combined?
You can get the plan. The question, I don't know if everybody heard, but the question is whether or not it can be individually. You can do, which even if you're part of a group, I should say, you don't have to have, if the 3 of you were a group, there's 3 people here. You don't have to say, oh, I can't do anything because she just wants dental and hospital and or critical care. No, you get what you want to have. So, that's totally up to you because it's your plan. And the key thing about these two is that if you were part of a company and you leave that company, you take your plan with you because it's your plan. It's not the company's plan. So like, even if somebody's with you, whatever, that is their plan. The only difference is going to be is that they'll pay for, they're responsible for, you would take them away from your payroll and they would pay on their own, but still you're still part of a group, even if you had 2 people, because you're with 3. So that's still an advantage. So you didn't lose, like you said, oh my gosh, this person's gonna be leaving, and now we're gonna have to pay an individual rate. Now you'll pay a group rate, that reduced rate. Okay. You have any other questions on that before I go further? The good questions. I'm glad you bring it up for me. Okay. We move on down to our lovely vision. Vision is really cheap, but hey, we need it. So again, that's a breakdown 18 to 39. The individual would be $3.21 a week. So like $12.80 something, what is it, 84 cents a month. But then you're adding on the 1 parent is $5.28, the insured and the spouse is $5.05, and then 2-parent is $6.67. But that is a division with 18 to 39, that age range, then 40 to 49, and then 50 to 70. So it's still affordable, Okay. And then here I included the information about the life. This is the whole life. And this is the one where I'm saying again, it's going to be different with you. What you'll see is because whole life is gonna pay a little, you'll charge a little bit more than it would be for, term, exactly. So like they had the age range started with this looked like from 18 to 21 is $2.47 if the person doesn't smoke. Okay, it'd be more, I didn't do the smoker range, but I could do that if somebody needed to. And then with the spouse, you add on 60 cents. And then it goes up, they got it all the way up to 70, which would be 32.88, age 7. Then, the critical care. Again, the critical care protection, this is the plan for what I was talking about, the heart attack, stroke. I don't think I mentioned that before, sickle cell, COVID, whatever would be considered a critical illness. With that particular policy, again, you have, it's a breakdown. The breakdown is, 18 to 35 for the age range, and 36 to 45, 46 to 55, and 56 to 70. So that premium starts, with $390. And, then if you're adding on, which I just included that information for you to see, and I can't share this, with you all, but this is for first occurrence, if you to include it, or the specified health event, like say, for instance, a particular incident that happened as a result of the critical care illness. And that's anywhere from $4.71 for an individual per week. So it's at $17, then to a one parent, the insured spouse. One parent is $750, so that's $30 a month. And then the insured and the spouse, $912 or $36.48 a month. And then the two parent would be $40.80 a month. Okay,
So,
go ahead.
when we have one parent and two parents here, does that mean that the other parent is covered?
Mhm.
Okay, like automatically under an
Mhm.
individual that's in the group?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Did you have a question? Oh, I thought I kind of saw it. I hit my head through there for a minute. Okay. Then the accident off the job. That I included that because again, all accidents don't happen on the job, right? And you still need to be covered if you have an accident off the job. I mean, if you walk out the door, an accident that takes place and something happens, gonna be off the job. So you want to make sure you have that as well. And again, the beauty of this one again, 18 to 75, $4.56. So you, what is it? $17 and something a month for the individual, and then $648 for the insured and the spouse, and then one parent, $759, and the two parent, $987. And then we have the riders that we put in. We put in for the additional support that you would need in this 72 cents, $1 or something, just so that you have that extra protection. Like we would have the little fine print, like if you only had this, we would pay for this, so you get that extra. So that's what I'm going to show right now. Do you have any other questions, or I should be asking person line, do you have any questions that I didn't cover, or you want? I can save this one and I can share it with you later, because this is just an example. Like I said, the only way I'm going to know exactly, you'll know exactly what this amount would be, because it could be cheaper, it could be a few dollars or more. It's going to depend on your company rating, but I'm gonna let you know if you're an individual, then it's going to be whatever that amount would be. But I did, when I was doing something earlier, what I was saying is that when I worked with someone and I had put in their information, and actually the quote was more than what the actual plan was. That was an advantage. She saved $15. And she was like, oh, yeah.
Very affordable. My eyebrow is raised.
Your eyebrows raised. What's your eyebrow raised? Tell me about the eyebrow. We got eyebrow questions. Yes.
know, cause I mean, the prices that you're showing us, they're wonderful. So. I think putting all the leaks together, it's looking like, just like a whole nother bill, which it is.
And it depends on, like I said, like you want to do monthly, you know, you're going to be charged once a month. And another thing that I did mention too is that Aflac charges in the rear. So meaning that, say if you start a policy and say it goes effective, I'm just gonna say September 1st, you would not be getting an invoice for 30 days later. So it's not like, oh my gosh, I gotta come up with this right at, right when I sign up. Now you have to show proof of, payment, how you're gonna pay that to set up, but no, it's 30 days, it'll be 30 days after.
So, I do have one other question. So, as far as the company rate,
Mm-hmm.
the individual have to be 18 or older?
Regardless, well, let me go back and say, the company rate, that the child has to be 18. I mean, the individual has to be 18.
Mhm.
If they're part of a company, they're an employee. That's what you're saying, yes. Now, as for minors, I'll let you bring up a good question. As for coverage, like even if you did a juvenile life policy, for instance, that person would be covered up to age 26. So even though the person was like, I'm grown, but hey, they get like that cheaper rate. Yeah, they're still covered under their family's policy. Other questions?
All right, do we have any
I
questions on
like her question. In the blue folder, want to make sure you got enough duck stuff there to make sure I get the information for how many, I don't know how many else we had online. One other person,
Two.
two other people. Okay, I got enough.
Yeah.
Okay. What, in the packet, I had some of the brochures where you can actually see some of the information that I was talking about and get a little bit more. Some of those brochures, I mean, I didn't have all of those brochures, but I did want to, include some of those, because usually those are the ones we're concerned about. I know I have the dental in there, and which can give you a better understanding about what dental is, what's under dental. And how, you can, realize how that works. There's, in that first section, it gives you a breakdown too. In that first section, if you're looking at that particular flyer down there, to give you an estimate about how much that you would be reimbursed. So again, when we're talking about those cute things, I remember you were mentioning about the crowns, whatever it is, the crowns are the major services. You could get anywhere from $20 to $425. And again, what I want to say is key. Make sure they put all of that. I love my dentist because he puts all kind of stuff. They put all kind of stuff on that invoice. So I can say nobody should ever question. Sedated her. They did all kind of stuff. They did all types of things in there. But that's your reimbursement back. You don't want $20. You want $425 back. But that's something that's in key that's there. That other brochure I have in here is the critical care protection. And again, some other things that's under critical care. I tell you about heart attack, stroke, there's other, third degree burns, that's critical. Coma, paralysis, major heart organ transplant, the end stage renal failure, if persistent vegetative state, all of those in addition, like even though COVID is not here, it is covered under there. Yeah, and same with the sickle cell and the others. But the point of it is that again, this is what with the critical care. And it also is a breakdown over here, probably like the next page over, will give you an idea about those benefit amounts if you want to look into that, about how much it would be, whether or not if you would end up in intensive care. Some people ended up in intensive care, unfortunately, even with COVID. And like again, for the first 7 days, it was $800 a day, and then 8 to 15 days, it goes up to $1,300 a day. And so anyway, that information is very helpful to use an idea of, how much that the plan would pay. And then I had the other two brochures over here, which determine the whole life as well. Other questions? Let's see, Andre, and it was somebody else, right? Oh, that's one, okay. You say 3 people, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, other questions?
Yeah.
I talked a lot, huh? And I love her. She'll be just shooting those little bit. But what I didn't forget, I didn't remember, she was just shooting it for me. I love it. My card is there. I guess for a follow-up, I'm not sure how do you reach out to the persons that you work with, to be able to have an opportunity to discuss with them about, I mean, I guess if you're an individual, it would be your decision. But if as for persons who you're, affiliated with as a part of your group, to be able to follow up with them to, get their input to see if they're interested. I'm just curious, with you all, is it like you have at least a minimum of 3 where it would be a group? And you have more than 3.
Oh, no, you talking about teams? We all on the same. Yeah, we all out of Asia. Or
It would depend on how you wanted to do that. Because if you were doing it as Brooks and Davis, well then, what is it, Mr. Davis? Okay, Mr. Davis would have to buy into this, and he would have to basically have the account under him.
Oh.
And what that would mean is that he would, what most employers do is that they take whatever it is that you signed up for, out of the, your payment. And then, because the invoice is gonna come, not individually to you all, it's gonna come to Brooks and Davis but he would have to be willing to do that. If he didn't want to do that, then it would be your individual companies or you as an individual. Meaning that if you, as an individual, say, I want to do this, and my other folks that are working with me don't want to do this, well, then you're an individual. And basically you would end up doing, the invoice would come to you and you would sign up on your own. You wouldn't get the group rate, and unfortunately, you wouldn't get short-term disability and hospital. You would only get hospital and I'm talking about as an individual. The only way you're gonna get hospital is if you was a critical care, critical illness, or if it is, what is it, the cancer policy also has hospital. The cancer, the critical illness, those policies would be.
So since we are independent contractors,
Mhm.
if I had to add people to make a group,
Mhm.
I could
Mhm.
do that.
You'd have to have a minimum of 3 to be able to make a group. So like, give me an example, like who do you have?
A transaction board
Okay, so you, the transaction coordinator, and
and.
I don't know, your bookkeeper or somebody.
Showing.
Okay, sure, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And all the invoices to me.
The invoice would come to you as whatever your company's name would be. And then again, like I said, the easiest way that other companies have done is that they have literally say that person, whatever it is, like we've talked about all these different numbers, just say that person got 2 or 3 policies and theirs turned out to be $20 a month, $25 a month, then you would deduct that $25 a month out of their, their pay. Mm-hmm. And then that would, be how, because when, that will cover your, their invoice when Aflac, kicks in for them.
So I have a
Mm-hmm.
the business. So like, what all paperwork do you need to set up the company?
For the company account, any company, now I'm speaking to everybody again, gosh, I love her questions. Any company account, what I would have to do is, trying to see that your rating comes. Did I do a rating for you? Oh, no. I would do a rating, the standard industry code to see what, because this was based off an A. You might get an A, you might get a B, you might get a C, depending on what it is. And I have no rhyme or reason how they do that, because I'm gonna be honest with you, churches get an A. Dentists got a C. And it didn't have anything to do with how long he was in business and the top dentist, but he got a C rating. I think I did a dermatologist got a B. I have no idea, to be honest with you, how they're coming up with these ratings. But the point, what I'm saying is that I would do that. I would need to know if, just say if I'm doing each one, the three of you, you say you're doing it for your company. I would need to know the number of W-2, if you have any W-2s or 1099s, the total number of those persons that'll put in. I'll put that information in, because that's gonna give you a rating. And then to set up the account, I would need your tax ID number to be able to officially be able to do that. And so that you will get the best rate. And then say everything is in place, and because usually with Aflac, they've been doing pretty good. They've been able to give me a response back when I put in one. Usually, if it's not the end of the day, it's the next day. So if you're looking at time, and the then basically what we would do is one or two things: get together at another time in your business, and sit down with those individuals to be able to have the information to be able to share with them, and then to be able to sign them up, with the understanding that this is, how that would work. Other question. I'm trying to see something to give you an idea of something. Other questions. I know you got questions down there, Shay. I'm just waiting for them. I'd question you out, y'all. Okay. Let's see something. Hey, let's see. I'm trying to see. Oh, they did get them a C. The dermatologist got a C. No, I'm trying to see. I have no control over that. That's all I can do.
Yeah, well, sometimes does the rating determine the rate?
Mm-hmm.
Is it based on credit, you think? They're looking at.
Nobody can, something like, I'd ask that question. Nobody can answer that question for me. That's the weird thing about it. Because I'm thinking maybe I need to go higher up the pole, a little bit higher than my, okay, I'll give you an example. An attorney got an A. I was just going through the accounts that I've had, I put in here. The attorney got an A. The church got an A. Actually, she's relatively new, it's like maybe 5 years.
Number of employees too.
I do put no, not the area of town, because the churches regardless have been getting an A, and church could be wherever everybody could be at.
Those are not often, the real probably automatic.
I'm just looking to see, but yeah, I really don't, because I've asked that question. Nobody can answer that for me. Okay, a B, a computer group got a B rating.
I'm thinking AI plays a big role in everything. So
She's coming up with the logic, because
they're
I tried to
looking
figure it out, and I'm
at
like, I'll give it.
says,
Uh-huh.
looking at zip codes, they're like, well, it's a large occurrence of maybe cancer over here. This would like, and I pull stuff out of everywhere. all little algorithms.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Yep, all attorneys, I've gotten an A here, as I look at it, looking at somebody else. So the attorney got an A, the computer person got a B, the church got an A, but the dentist and the doctor got a C. That's why I said I can't even go see, I know that the doctors that like I'm dealing with, they're pretty, oh, a tax company got a
It's a little bit of everything.
I think it is
But I
too.
think it's a computer since nobody can give you an answer.
Cause I'm like, my regional person is our top here locally, and like I said, I could ask the person that we deal with in Georgia to see what he would say, if he could find an answer out for me. But they're telling me,
Rate is, like, if they wanna use that, are you an A? Are you a B?
that would be an interesting question, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 'cause like, how would they rate themselves? And maybe we can figure out how they rate people.
Okay. So I guess what I was saying, like, who I was talking to, whatever it is. Can I get your information? If you just want to write that in there for me, I didn't get a sign-in sheet and I should have.
What if I give you my card?
Oh, okay, that works. And what about you? I answer all your questions? Shay's over there at the information source. Okay. Margaret, okay.
So, Ms. Mary, do you have anything else for the people?
I really don't. If you want me, I guess what I was saying is that if you want, I can send this to you. Did you want me to send if I have your information too?
Yeah.
If I can get that, I can send a quote, I could run a better quote. Okay, I can do a better quote based off, well, this is what I'm gonna say. I don't have a real estate group to compare this to. So would you have at least 3 people?
No, not set up as a company, cause I.
So you would be an individual. Yeah, so you would be an individual. Okay. So I could give you a rating based off an individual. Okay, okay. And then what? You got? Joyful. What's your joyful? What's your last name? Richardson, Joyful Richardson. Okay.
Oh, no, it's Joy.
Oh, Joy, okay.
Yeah, just extra, so she.
Well, the thing about it is, if you wanted me to do the same thing as what I'm doing for her, when I could put in this, your information for a sick code, then I could give you better numbers as for how much it would be. So would you have 3 people?
No.
It would just be you as an individual then?
Yeah.
It goes not, okay, for the same thing, okay.
If you put them on payroll, like she gave an example about her dad fixing up, so he's.
Put my children on the payroll.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, that's why I asked, do they have to be?
Oh, but they're not in senior.
They did, yeah.
18 and 23.
This, okay. Okay. So in your case, would it be an individual and a group?
Yeah,
Can you get? Okay. And so can I say basically everybody's a 1099?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me. And again, I can share that quote, or I can even share a better quote of, like, even if it won't be any harm if I just run in Brooks and Davis just with a number, okay.
All right, well, thank you all for joining today. That's gonna conclude our training today. We'll see y'all next time. Don't forget, we do have a training on tomorrow. That is going over the NAR settlement topic. So that's a really good one too for you all to join. But we will talk to and see you all later. Y'all have a great day.